but I hope that my internet connection today withholds this kind of the stress of the snow. I've been experiencing some technical difficulties this evening, which is very atypical. So wish me luck. So Reading Eggs is a brilliant program that we are so lucky to have been purchased for us by FOSMAS. So we're really, really grateful to FOSMAS that they were able to raise the funds for this brilliant program, which is going to enrich your children's learning. So Reading Eggs is an educational online world where children can play and where children can learn. And we very much want to enable the play aspect of this learning platform because I think it's a really rich way to kind of develop that love of reading. And that's absolutely our aim at school, is to develop a love of reading with all of our children. So it's developed by a team of expert educators, and it's based on solid scientific research on how children learn. And Reading Eggs works really to dramatically improve our reading skills, or to simply get your child started with reading. So we purchased Reading Eggs with the idea of Reading Eggs being an enrichment tool, and basically to provide you with a kind of online library. So they've got a brilliant library full of books for you to access, and their library is massively diverse in terms of both the ages that they provide for, but also the genres. They have such a rich range of genres, and also they're adding to their library later on this year. They're adding 2,000 books to the library, so that's really exciting for us. And the third thing is to kind of provide your children with texts which closely match their reading ability. So we want our children to always feel challenged, but also to feel supported when they're reading and to feel that they are successful when they read. So if your child is reading at an ability that suits them, then they'll read much more confidently and they'll read much more often as a result of that. So I would always aim to give my child, give a child who I'm reading with or reading to, a book that is slightly below their reading age, or a book that's at their reading age, and also a kind of an ambitious book, an ambitious text to challenge them with their reading. So we always want to be focusing on giving them those three kind of texts. And I'm going to show you in our library later on how you can kind of adjust your child's reading age to make sure that you're covering all three of those reading abilities. We're going to kind of aim to use Reading Eggs in a similar way as we use Mathletics to enrich our children's reading. Okay. Could I please just remind everyone to mute themselves? Sorry. So we're not going to use the fast phonics part of this program. That is specifically because we use Read, Write, Ink as our taught phonics here at St Mary Abbott's. So we're not going to use the fast phonics, but we still have access to fast phonics, and it will still come up on your child's homepage. That's really for Key Stage 1, but it can go up into Key Stage 2 as well. So you can always use those resources. However, we kind of promote children using Read, Write, Ink resources for their phonics training. So the main parts of this I'm going to talk to you guys about today are Reading Eggs, which is our kind of Key Stage 1 reading tool or reading resource. And I'm also going to talk to you about Reading Express, which is our Key Stage 2 reading resource. So first things first, how do you log into Reading Eggs? So soon you'll get an email from our school office. Every parent will get an email from the school office. And on your email, you'll get a card, which looks like this, which will have your child's login and also your child's password. And there's also, handily, there's a link to the Reading Eggs website just there. So you'll get a login, and don't worry if you lose them because we have them on copy. So please just don't hesitate to contact the school office and we'll send it back out to you. We've also issued new passwords for all new children or new starter children. So everyone has their own password and everyone has their own login to Reading Eggs. Okay, so this is what the website looks like. So when you type in www.readingeggs, you'll come up to this website and you click on the login button, and then you'll come onto this page here. And you just type in your login and your password, and it will lead you to a page that looks like this. So this is a Key Stage 1 Reading Eggs page. So this is the Key Stage 1 home page. And this is Adrienne's from Year 2. So Adrian will click on this link here, which leads him into Reading Eggs. But as you can also see, he's got access to Fast Phonics just there. He's also got access to the library. Everyone has access to the library. And also he has access to Reading Express just there at the bottom. That icon is a little bit smaller because that is very much a Key Stage 2 reading resource. It's very much a comprehension resource. This Reading Eggs platform is much more suitable for Key Stage 1, both in terms of context, both in terms of content, but also in terms of kind of the activities and the kind of games you can play. The Reading Express is much more challenging. Reading Express, this is a Key Stage 2 homepage. So this leads you straight into Reading Express as your main page in Key Stage 2. So we've got Reading Express there, then we've got the library, and then we've got small icons for our Reading Eggs platform. We've also got a small icon for our Fast Phonics. Okay, when your child enters Reading Eggs for the first time, they'll be required to take a placement test. And the placement test is so important for every child to complete because it will start your child's Reading Eggs journey off on the right track. It will start them at their reading level, at their correct reading level. So for Key Stage 1, I highly, highly recommend that your children sit with you to complete their placement test. So you need to pick for them, if they have some reading skills, then select that placement test. If they, however, have no reading skills yet because they are in perhaps reception class or year 1 or maybe even year 2, then select that reading test there and you'll start at lesson 1 just there. After you've completed your placement test, or your child has completed their placement test, they'll then be set a range of tasks. And they'll also be given a range of reading material that suits their reading age. In Key Stage 2, this is their Reading Egg placement test, their Reading Express placement test. And I think that these tests should be completed independently without adult support. So these tests, this test is much more based on reading comprehension. And there are 20 challenging questions. And if you get 3 questions wrong, then the test will end. And it will immediately start you off at the very beginning of our Reading Express program. There's a little link there just for anyone who wants to have a look at a video which shows you how to complete the placement test, but also which shows you a little bit more about the placement test. So please feel free to watch that at your own time. In your own time. This is an example of the Key Stage 2 Reading Express placement test. So this is a really high level reading test and it's quite challenging and the questions get progressively harder. So this is how they assess your reading comprehension ability, and this is also how they level you as a reader, and it's all based on national curriculum guidelines. So all of this criteria is really well researched and it's all completely age related. Okay, if you are assessed as a reading egg and you complete your placement test, then you'll be led onto this home screen. This is a home screen for a made-up child. And I'm just going to show you a little bit about the icons and what they mean. So my lessons, which is in the middle there, they're all of the lessons that are set for your child at their reading level. And it's all based on their placement test. So however your child does on their placement test, they will have to complete lessons based on their reading ability. And it's basically all done for you. The spelling, just there, the spelling icon. So that's where your child will complete little spellings and complete spelling tests based on their phoneme or grapheme that they've been working on, based on their placement test as well. And then the driving test is a kind of competition. So it's a kind of a quick fire competition. It's quite quite fun, and also you'll get rewards. So you get reading eggs or golden eggs for every challenge you complete or every competition you complete, and also you get golden eggs for every lesson you complete as well. The Story Factory is where your child can complete their own story or write their own story, which is based on a monthly theme. So the monthly theme is just located up there. So that month was Superhero Month. So your child will have to write a story about superheroes. And they really cater that program for Key Stage 1 in terms of the fact that they provide your child with a storyboard, they provide them with vocabulary. So all your child has to do is string together the sentences. It's a really, really lovely, enriching story program, and also a brilliant writing tool as well as a brilliant reading tool. Reading Express is a little bit, the challenges are a little bit harder. So it's quite a similar kind of format. So you've got your lessons just there, and the stadium is where you can kind of compete against other members of the class or other members of the world. It's a little bit like the Mathletics Champion of the Week, the little Mathletics trophies that we win in assemblies on Fridays. So this is where you kind of compete against other people in your class or other people in the world. The English skills, it's kind of a range of SPAG activities based on your child's placement test. And then they've got access to the library, and they've got their lessons just there. So the library is a brilliant whole school resource, and pupils have access to a huge range of books from lots of different genres, and pupils can choose the reading age that they want to read in the library. So if your child is 5 years old, but they're an ambitious reader, then perhaps you can move their reading age up in the library, because the library is a kind of a free space to explore, similar to how our library at school is. We want children we want to promote a love of reading for all of our children at school. So we want to allow them to access books that are perhaps a little bit challenging for them, but they feel like they are interested in perhaps the content, or perhaps interested in learning more about rocks and fossils or something like that. Then they can find it in the library. They can get whatever they want. They can also perhaps use it as a research tool for a project that they're doing in school, because because the library has a huge range of non-fiction books. I'm actually just going to show you the library right now. So I'm going to exit my PowerPoint presentation. I'm just going to lead you into the library. So this is a Key Stage 2 page, and I'm just going to lead you into the library and show you around a little bit. Mr. Forward, will you just give me a thumbs up if you can see and hear what I'm doing?
Can definitely hear you. Can't see the library yet.
Oh. Okay, let me see now. Can you see it now, Mr. Ford?
Yeah, we can see Find a Book.
Okay, great. So I'm just going to show you around the library a little bit now. So we've got an Earth and Science section just there. We've got an Animal section. We've got a Science section, a Space section, a Fast Phonics section, and that could be used for both Key Stage 1 and Key Stage 2 children. If you're finding that your child's phonics is perhaps not completely embedded in Key Stage 1, then perhaps it's a good idea to kind of plug those gaps using Fast Phonics here in this reading resource. We've got an art section just there, a myths section, an adventure section. I can't see what that says. I think it's comedy section. And then you can go into a Find a Book if you're looking for something specific. If you just want to browse, then feel free to click on one of those sections, or you could go into Find a Book, which is where you can look for something specific. So as I told you, there's such a range of genres, and also you can adjust the reading age. So this is opened quite wide between the ages 5 to 13, but you can absolutely narrow it down. And if you've got a child who's perhaps a really capable reader or a really able reader, and they're in Key Stage 1, then perhaps you could take the limits off of their resources that they have in the library, just to give them a bit of extra challenge and a bit of fun. And like I said, there's loads of lovely books here to research, to perhaps used to support their extracurricular learning. For example, in year 2, I know that they do a project on volcanoes, and I'm sure that they've got some brilliant volcano books in here. So I'm just going to show you how you rent a book. So you rent a book by clicking on the book and then pressing go, and you can read the book there. And if you read that book and then you complete a quiz, then you can get potentially 312 golden eggs. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing that screen, and I'm going to start sharing my PowerPoint presentation again now. Okay, so I've showed you a little bit around the library. Please just let your kids explore the library. It's so much fun. And also those golden eggs are a brilliant, brilliant thing to know about. I'm going to tell you about them a little bit more in a little while. So once your child's completed their placement test, they'll be leveled to suit their reading age, and they'll get put on a map. So their map will be their first the first stop on their map will be their first lesson. And their first lesson is on the map, and their job is to work all of the way around the map, completing all of the lessons on the map. And after they've completed the whole entire map, and they've completed every single challenge on that map, then they can move up to the next level. This is an example of a question in one of the lessons in a key stage, I think key stage 2, I'm not entirely sure, key stage 1 or key stage 2, I can't remember, sorry. But each lesson has a learning outcome, and each learning outcome is matched with a national curriculum. So it's all based on what we teach at school. It's kind of embedding that learning and kind of really enriching that work that we do at school and supporting that work that we do at school. So your job will be to complete a whole lesson of questions like that. And then one lesson doesn't equal moving on to the next level. You have to complete your whole entire map, which might have 5 or 6 lessons in, or might have 14 lessons in. It's such a wide variety on the maps. Right, I'm going to show you a little bit now about my program. So my program is a different icon on your home screen. So this is a Key Stage 1 home screen, like I showed you earlier. And all of these icons are lovely little fun icons, and they're mostly for the children to like play and have fun. But up here, there's an icon called My Program. And if you click on My Program, then it takes you to other areas in Reading Eggs, where you can complete, for example, spelling tests, where you can read books, where you can create a little bookshelf. So this bookshelf is empty because no one's used it yet, but you can absolutely put books on your shelf. And I think that you get them by going to the library and by renting them. And then it fills up on your bookshelf. And then it tells you how many books you've read, which will be massively helpful for later on when we talk about our readathon. Okay, rewards, the most exciting thing for all children at SMA. So for each lesson that you complete, or that your child completes, your child will earn 1 golden egg or several golden eggs. Like I told you already, when you read a whole entire book, dependent on the kind of book that they're reading, they could get up to 400 golden eggs. So it just depends on the kind of challenge, but each lesson that your child completes in their kind of on their lesson icon, they will get at least 1 golden egg. And the golden eggs will collect in your egg bank, which is just up here. So your golden egg bank just there. Your child can use their golden eggs to buy things on this program. So with their golden eggs, your child can buy themselves items to, for example, put inside of their house. So this person has decorated their house very beautifully with loads of little bought items that they've kind of won as a reward of their brilliant learning. Or you could buy yourself a new avatar. And an avatar could be any kind of creature or character, or have any hairstyle that they want. It takes quite a long time to complete a map and to move on to the next level. There is a lot of reading required. So if you have a quick look at this map requires a lot of lessons in order to move on to the next level. And the next level is kind of a step up in the reading age that your child will be. And please know that you can continue to do the placement tests again and again. So if you feel that your child has made a lot of progress in their reading and you want them to be assessed again, then you can redo your placement test. Okay, like I said earlier, that reading, the reading eggs, the actual golden eggs, are really important. They're really important for a lot of reasons. The first reason is because they are one of our challenges in our readathon. Now, I'm not going to talk to you much about the readathon today. I just wanted to introduce you guys to the fact that we are doing another annual readathon, and we are doing it in order to raise money for FOSMAS. So I just wanted to make you guys aware that reading eggs will absolutely feature in our readathon, and that all of the money that is raised in our readathon will go directly to FOSMAS. And finally, I just want to say one big thank you to FOSMAS, who raised all of the funds for us to be able to buy this brilliant program and to provide your children with some incredible reading resources and a huge plethora of brilliant books to read. So please share with me in saying thank you to them. And that's it. And if you have any questions, Mr. Ford is just going to send me them so I can answer them. If not, then have a wonderful evening, and I hope to speak to you soon.
So if you do have any questions, feel free to type them into the chat. And as Miss Henley said, she will do her best to answer them. But thank you, Miss Henley, for taking us through that. It's an incredible resource for the school, and hopefully the children will absolutely love it.
Yeah.
When will this start?
When will it start? So tomorrow morning, fingers crossed, and I hope to goodness that I'm not giving you any fake news. Tomorrow morning, you should get your logins and you can start it immediately. So as soon as you get your login, go onto the website, log your child in, and get them to complete their reading placement test, whether they're in Key Stage 1. If they're on Key Stage 1, click on the reading eggs icon and help your child to pick where they're at. If they have some reading ability, then click on the some reading ability test. If they've got no reading ability, then they'll probably just go directly to lesson 1. If they're in Key Stage 2, then click on the reading express icon and they'll be led directly into their placement test. As we are new to this program, every single child in our school is starting with the placement test. Every single child will be directed straight to the reading placement test. Mr. Forward, I've got a question here asking, do any of the activities require children to write? If so, can they handwrite it as well as type it? Unfortunately not. There is no function to be able to actually physically write anything, but they can type it. And also they can, I think, click and drag words into places to answer questions, but they can't write it physically, I don't think, at all in any of the activities on the website. How often should they use it, and does the school have an overview? As I said at the start of this webinar, it's really an enrichment tool. So it's a kind of, it's a tool to help your child to be supported with their reading. I mean, if I had a child at the school, I would read with my child every single day for between, depending on how old they are, 10 minutes every day if I was in Key Stage 1. And I've been historically a Key Stage 1 teacher for the past 7 years, and I've always recommended to my parents to read with their children for 10 minutes every day. And in which case, perhaps use this platform for your 10 minutes of reading every day. Although I do understand that some people are kind of quite hesitant to have children with so much screen time. So perhaps do 10 minutes every other day on your Reading Eggs platform, and then the rest of it you can do with a physical book. I think it's really, really important that we don't lose the kind of ability to read an actual book. So I don't think it can be said that you can only use this resource for reading, but this resource is a brilliant resource to kind of enrich our reading. Okay, will there be weekly prizes like Mathletics? I'm not entirely sure yet. We would need to have a trophy donated to our school in order to be able to give a trophy out for a Mathletics champion kind of thing, to have a Reading Eggs champion each week. However, I think it's open for discussion, and we'll get back to you on that. Yes, they can find books that link to the sound that they're learning. However, it might take a bit of kind of experimentation in terms of, so especially with the Key Stage 1 Reading Eggs platform, I know that they have books which fit or suit each sound that they're learning. However, it doesn't explicitly tell you where they are. So you might have to perhaps on your map, just go through it. And I think it is a process in terms of you have to go from one sequentially through the numbers to achieve the whole map. So I'm not entirely sure that the sounds that they're learning in their phonics lessons at school will naturally suit this reading platform. I don't think you can order any book on the system. That's not really how it works. So how it works is they've got a huge range of books in their library, but their library has got a finite amount of books, and there is no ability to order a specific book for what you want or for what you're looking for. So have a peruse of the books in that library. It's not it's not the same as Amazon. I'm not actually sure how to answer that question about an iPad or a laptop. I haven't actually done any research into an iPad because I don't own an iPad. So I'm not entirely sure. However, I do know that this program is a sister program of Mathletics. So if you've used Mathletics before in the past and you've done it on an iPad, then this program, I'm almost certain, will work as smoothly as that does on an iPad as it does on a computer. But I'm not entirely sure, and I need to do some fact checking about that before I present that data. Mr. Forward, any other questions?
We just had an answer about the iPad. Actually, there's an app that you can download. So you can download a Reading Eggs app for iPad and iPhone.
Oh, thank goodness.
So there we go.
That. Okay, well, if that's it from everyone, then have a lovely evening. And I hope to goodness that we get the chance to see you again soon. Bye.
Brilliant. Thank you, Miss Henley. And thank you everyone for attending.
Thanks, Miss Henley. Thank you.